while we're waiting for the water to boil on the crabs, we'll prep this nice little salmon. Now we caught this guy today as well. And same again, this is just the way I fillet and skin a fish. Everybody has their own ways. This is just how I do it. So anyway, first things first, sharp knife essential. If it ain't sharp enough to shave with, it's not sharp enough. Yep, that'll do. Yeah, I know, not hygienic, but it's my cooking, my kitchen. All right. Now, so what I like to do, start up near the head. Now, find where the shoulder bone is. I like to go in under the scales and do a nice big cut down until I get to the backbone. Then from there, cut in until your knife runs along the bones. You can feel it just running along the tops of the bones there. And then come all the way down to the back. Now, I'm doing this on camera, so I'm probably going to end up butchering it, but anyway. Now, I'm by no means the world's best filleter or anything at all. I've just done it once or twice before. And like I said, this is just the way I do it. So, as you run your knife down, you can feel it bumping across the bones. Personally, I don't mind leaving a bit of meat on the bones because it ends up being crab pot bait anyway to catch more crabs. So if you leave a little bit of meat behind, don't stress. Well, that's just my theory on it anyway. Come down. Now I'm at the rib cage here, so I can start feeling the ribs. There we go, running it through like that. Once I get to this point, I like to stick it out through the back. That gets your tail piece off. And then you can just run your knife down. Like I said, I'm butchering it a little bit, but it is what it is. First time I've ever filleted a salmon, actually, if I'm honest. That's actually not a bad salmon fillet. I know, guys, you'll be leaving a comment below like, oh, you messed it up, you left so much meat on and rah rah rah, but personally I don't give a shit. Because there is. I mean, there's so much meat left in these wings. These wings have got a whole heap of meat in it. There's a really nice fillet in the cheek, you know, and there's even meat up on the top of the head. So best way to get every part out of the fish is to actually whole cook it. But you know, this time around, I want the crab pot bait, easily 2 baits. Cut through there. Now this is fucking horrendous for your knives. Any knife fan out there will be cringing right now, using a knife to go through the bone like that, because it absolutely stuffs your blades, but fuck it, don't care. I sharpen, so no. That makes it easier to bag up. Right, so let's get a plastic bag. That guy can go in a bag, go in the freezer for the next time we go crabbing. Oh, minus the receipt.
I actually saw a receipt on one of the bait fish from today.
Yeah, that was the from the last lot of bait. Okay, so those 2 are in there. They can sit over here for later. Stay, good dog. Right. Now to whip the skin off it. So we get one over here. Now, same again, you guys are going to be shaking your head at me. You'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not a filleting knife. I know, I'm just using what I've got. I do have filleting knives somewhere, I just couldn't find the fuckers. Right, so, to skin it, you want your knife reasonably sharp, but not too sharp, because if it's too sharp, it's going to go straight through the skin. But if it's too blunt, it's not going to do it either. So I just start at the tail. Slice down and in. Really hard to fucking get a good grip on it. And I put a reasonably harsh angle on the blade. Now some people like to use a fork to hang onto that tail piece. It sort of just helps you hold the skin a bit better. I just like to fight with it myself.
Well, you're midway through. I actually like to grab it how you have, but I actually hold the knife still and shake the skin.
Yeah, I do that as well, towards the end. It's sort of much of a muchness. Like everybody's different. The way they fillet fish and skin fish, and like everybody does it different and has their own sort of techniques that work for them. This is just what works for me. So I hold that. Like I said, you want a reasonably sharp knife, but not too sharp. Get to that point, and there we go. There's your skin. Gonskis. Now, when I flip this, fingers crossed, there shouldn't be any skin left on it. Bloody beautiful. Couldn't have done that better if I tried. Now this guy here, you can feel the bones in it. I've still left a bit of the rib cage in. So what I'm going to do is come in here, find these bones, and just follow the bones down and cut those rib bones out. Like I said, none of this is getting wasted. It's going to end up going to crab bait.
Well, actually, those bits of flesh with the rib bones in it, they made great bait today.
Well, they did actually. They got some really good bites. I've still got a couple in here. I just slice them out. Like so.
Does salmon have that bone through the middle?
Yep, just along here. If you run your finger down that bloodline, you can usually feel the tips of the bones. Now these ones aren't going too far at all. So then I just get my knife, run down this side, open it up, feel it, and then down this side. Now this isn't a guarantee to make it completely 100% boneless, but you will get 90% of the bones out doing it this way. And that right there has bones through it there. Okay, so take that out. Now that should be 90% bone free. I'm not going to say 100% because it's, I don't know, unless you're like some pro fucking sushi chef, something or other, you're never going to get 100% boneless fillet. Well, you can, like, I know lots of people that are good at it, but just me personally, not that good. Right, so we'll just put this guy over here and repeat the same step. All right, so we've filleted and skinned the salmon. So now what I'm going to do is show you how I like to fry it up. Well, this is just one way. I do a crumb as well. The only thing I'm going to do different here that I don't usually do is use no oil. So I've got a non-stick pan here. How non-stick it is, I'm not sure, but we're about to find out. So I'm just going to basically do like a dry fry. So no oil in the pan, just fry it off. But what I am going to do is add a bit of a flour coating to it. So get the flour, put a little bit of flour in my bowl, flour up your bowl, only a little bit because I'm only doing 2 pieces. Same again, like all my cooking, I just wing it, so I can't really give you any exact amounts. And in this, no surprise, as always, I'm going to add some fish seasoning and a little bit of lemon pepper seasoning into the flour. Just adds a nice little flavour through it. Not too offensive, not too over the top, just enough to add a nice little flavour. The other thing I do add, if I'm going to crumb it, I've got to admit, I do like to put a little bit of taco seasoning. Right? I put that into the flour, mix that through as well. And that just adds a really nice little Mexican flavour to it. Anyway, okay, so not going to do that this time because I've never had salmon before, so I'm going to keep it pretty basic. Add fish seasoning to everything, that's just me. So let's go. This one's been used quite a bit, so it's pretty plugged up. As anybody who uses spices knows, by the time you get to the end of it, it's pretty clumpy. So let's grab a bit of that out and sprinkle that in. And just a little bit more, just because I can. Oh, go on, just a little bit more. Doesn't look like enough. Okay, that's good. The 2 fat ladies would be proud of me. Now I'm not taking the piss out of fat people. If anybody knows, way back in the day, there used to be a cooking show called the 2 Fat Ladies. They used to ride around on a Harley with a sidecar and go all around England finding fresh produce and cooking up the most incredible meals you have ever seen in your life. Like, these girls could cook. Not just because they were ladies, not just because they were fat, they just were good at cooking. The funniest part was though, they would start every cooking session with a bottle of wine. By the end of it, there was about 3 bottles of wine gone. These ladies were fucking sloshed. I'm talking maggot drunk, and yet they used to pull out the most incredible feeds you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, shout out to those girls. I don't even know if they're still alive. Right, now back to what we were doing. And they used to get over the top with everything. A little bit, that's not enough. Let's put a bit more in. Anyway, they used to do the same with the wine. Hence the reason 3 bottles by the time they finished cooking. Okay, so let's put a little bit of lemon pepper in there as well. About that much will do. Now, like I said, I can't give you any amounts for what I do because I just wing it. So you just basically do it to taste. Trial and error is a good way to go. Alright, so now I'm going to mix that through and make sure that's nicely mixed through the flour. You want a nice even, you want to make sure, this is the only part that I actually do pay attention to doing, is making sure that it's nice and evenly mixed through the flour, because then you'll get a nice even coating over the fish. And that's, to me, that's essential. Alright, so that's nicely mixed up in there. Evenly mixed through. Now, let's grab out a little piece of fish and let's flour him up. Put in a nice coating. Now, it doesn't put a thick coating on it like you would with a crumb. When you're crumbing it, you usually flour it first, as most people know. You do this, flour it, and then dip it in the egg, and then put it in your crumb. But this time around, I'm just going to do the flour, which gives it a nice little dusting. And that's it. Okay, so we've got that one there. Ah, crap. No, I don't have anything to put it on. Alright, let's use some paper towel. Paper towel is magic. I use it for everything. Over you go. Sit over here. Now you get out of the way for a second. Okay, so there's one piece, nice floured up, ready to go. And that just adds like a nice brown coating over the top of it. Second piece of fish into the flour. Coating, over you go. Thanks for coming. Now, because I went light on the herbs and spices because I want to taste the fish, I'm going to be very surprised if we can actually taste all these in here. It just adds a nice little back hint to it. Alright, there's your second one. Nicely dusted and ready to go. Put that aside. That gets tossed because we don't need that. Alright, so stay. Now I'm going to cook this on about a mid temperature, just a mid heat, because you don't really want it to burn, but you want the fish to cook all the way through. It's just the way I do it. Some people like doing it really high temperature, cook it, bang, off you go. If I'm crumbing it, I do it mid to high temperature. It's sort of, like I said, it comes down to personal preference. So everybody cooks it different. This is just how I'm doing it. Wash your hands off. Always good. You know, hygiene in the kitchen and all that whatnot. Haven't scratched my balls in the last 5 minutes, so we should be right. Okie dokie. So, let's let that get a little bit more heat in it. We want that to have a nice sizzle. Now this is, like I said, this is going to be the first time I actually cook it without oil, so I don't know how it's going to go. We're about to find out. But I'm doing this because, as we said earlier, Ali doesn't like the oil in it, and that's fair enough. To be honest with you, it's probably healthier for you anyway. I cook with olive oil. When I do cook, I like olive oil. I believe it's more healthy.
When I cook, I like to use coconut oil.
Oh yeah, the coconut oil.
I think we pulled it out in the yabby cooking.
Yeah, we did because that went in the, was it a Luxor or a curry? No, I'm pretty sure you made a curry with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we went the curry because I forgot the Luxor paste.
That's right.
Or something or other.
Okay, so that's feeling pretty good. Let's put that on there and get that cooking. Now it's not sizzling because there's no oil in there, but we'll cook that up. Alright, well, we'll cook this and come back to you when it's ready to go. Alright, so I'm going to call these cooked. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever cooked it without oil. And it's surprisingly turned out pretty good. I don't want to leave them go any longer because they are starting to burn up. That's the flour on top. But the meat itself actually, it feels like it's pretty cooked and ready to go.
Breaking apart, and there's little bits of oils and fats and juices in the meat that's actually starting to come out the pan, which is acting as the oil.
Which is good. So let's bring these over here. I've got a spatula here, why not use it? And we'll do that. That actually smells. That smells actually fucking really good, man. Have a whiff of that.
Ooh, that's actually, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Better than the steely back.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get a fork.
That is a thick bloody steak of fish.
Like, have a look at that. That's a nice big slab of meat. So, fork me and fork you.
Take it.
Now, let's pull a chunk of this fish off. It's gonna be fucking hot. Really fucking hot.
You do yours first.
Yep, I would definitely eat that again.
Better than steelback?
Way better than steelback, man. Like, it's got... now, the only reason I didn't like the steelback salmon is just because it was a bit mushy in consistency. So this is a little bit firmer, a little bit more flaky. Not as flaky as I'd like, but the flavor is just fucking incredible, man. Wrap your fucking choppers around that and tell me what you reckon. Yeah, careful, it's fucking hot. Yeah, righto, tough guy.
Alright, that's a fish I can eat like bare.
Yeah. See, I went light on the seasoning so that it didn't overpower the flavour of the fish itself. But, see man, and I could recreate this fucking when we're camping. So, cooking up fish like that, you'd be able to eat that not a drama.
Dude, I like that more than flathead.
Yeah. 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 So that's like yum.
Yeah.
Like very yum. And this is just, look at that. That just peels apart beautifully. Look at that. Well, all right guys, we're gonna get off camera and enjoy this. Very, very much so. So that is how I fillet salmon. And well, that was the first I've ever cooked, so you guys got to come along for the ride on that one. I've never cooked it before, but that turned out really, really good. So by all means, follow the way I did it, give it a crack, and it turns out really, really nice.
Yeah, man, that's mint. The fact there's no oil in that is just, it's just perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Like I've got to admit, I'm a fan of cooking with oil, but that is more than edible, well more than edible, and that is delicious.
Nothing like the oils and fats and all the juices of fish flesh actually cooking itself.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Well, we're going to enjoy this, and yeah. So that's how I fillet and cook salmon. We'll see you in the next one.